Cool. So you have two new systems, right? You have the library system and the sanctuary system. They're not connected from our perspective, right? You have speakers here that are all connected to those speakers, but this is kind of a standalone system. LG remote turns on and off, things like that. You don't need the volume for the display. Okay, so you can turn that all the way off, and then really just when you turn it on and off. This is the soundbar remote control.
Okay.
Right now you can see that the camera sort of tracks us. You can turn that off with this little button here. The pin here. Button.
Okay.
And then you can zoom in and pan and move around and stuff. There are settings on this machine. I installed what's called the Polycom Companion.
Okay.
And this is the Polycom Studio, which is the little soundbar. And in here, you're able to, all the settings for changing how it zooms in and out, how it does all of those functions, they're all in here. It's password protected. I'll send you the password later. And then you can change it as you desire. But yeah, you can get rid of the zooming in and out pretty.
How does it, what sort of AI is it? Is it trying to like sort of group the whole everyone together?
It
Like what's
has
the sort
a
of
bunch of
algorithm?
settings it can do quick. I mean, right now is its slowest setting, and it's trying to focus on groups, not individuals.
Right.
So that's another function, right? It can go down to the individual. It can do, how close do you want it to go in? How far away do you want it to go in? It has all those settings.
But the default right now is probably good for like a meeting with a bunch of people around the table.
It's very slow and very chill. Yeah, exactly. I installed these in a corporate office not so long ago, and they're like, "Oh my God, it's all over the place. Like, please slow it down." So I made sure that we had that here.
So it's at its slowest right now.
It's at the slowest it can be right now. Exactly.
What does it look? I mean, what does that really mean? What is it? It doesn't track people. What is it? Focus? Is it self-focus or tracking or what?
Yeah. So when you turn it on, you'll see that it starts picking you up.
Yeah.
Right. And so if right now you continue to talk, it will kind of just shift instead of focus all the way in. So those are kind of those settings that you can program, and you'll see as you kind of talk and you move around, like it'll try to just
average out where the center of the group is.
Exactly, and it'll zoom out and zoom in, and it kind of has this thing. Yeah, and Polycom, they're super enterprise company, so they've been in the game for a while, and they have a pretty good algorithm for how those things work. So
great.
So not only is it camera, it's also the sound in and out. So for the sound settings, you can see that you have the echo canceling speakerphone. It's called the Polycom Studio Audio, and it's picking up my voice as I talk. You can see the little thing go up and down, right? So you know it's me making sound. And then the same is for playback when you're trying to hear the far end of a call. You have to make sure that this is selected. You don't want it to come out of the display. You really want it to come out of the speakerphone, and that's going to be your soundbar.
Okay.
So if we start a Zoom session, do you expect people would interact with Polycom Studio?
In Zoom,
we should set it up and leave it.
It could be as easy as plug and play. Once you set up Zoom, it'll be a thing. What you guys need to know is you're the higher level is just how this stuff connects, right?
Yeah.
It's all USB from this guy to the little computer that sits in the back, right? Your little wireless dongle is on the front, so if these ever go bad, you can replace that really easily. Okay. HDMI connects to the display, and on and off, and you're set to go.
So could you show them if we were to just iconify the camera display and show them where there's a link I've got set up on Microsoft Edge?
So
say
So
somebody
if you-
walked in here to start a board meeting, they would flip on the TV with the LG remote.
and it's really just a double click.
So if you were to just start Microsoft Edge, it's supposed to start a Zoom session, but it doesn't. There's all.
Maybe turning it
No,
Huh.
I probably have that open already. Let's try again.
Yeah, it's going to that next tab.
Oh, it updated. There we go.
That's your brand.
So launching.
Yeah.
If you don't see a dialogue, click.
Click the launch meeting and it'll go.
There you go.
And so there we have a Zoom session.
Connected to computer audio.
Remember,
Right, and so that's what's the thing about,
audio driver receipt. But do you want it to be echo canceling
you
speakerphone?
definitely want to do
Okay.
that.
I was saying, otherwise it'll come through the TVs. Probably doesn't have speakers or maybe right back.
Same as system is usually what I select for everything, because
Oh,
the
yeah.
system should always be set to have the easiest path through for everything. And inside of this, I don't know how familiar you guys are with things like this, but inside of here, you can actually disable different outputs. So like for instance, if you never wanted to hear it out of the LG TV, you could disable it,
Yeah,
and it
let's
won't
do
even
that.
be an option. Yeah, there you
That is probably not an
go. Okay, there you go.
So one of the
Make it
things that,
simple.
Yeah.
a finer point that Anthony and I discussed earlier was if we were running a Zoom session in the sanctuary, and we run it here, it's important to mute this so sound doesn't come out and so that people don't speak into this because it'll interfere with the setup in the sanctuary.
Correct. Yeah. So
Oh,
so like what I was trying to say at the beginning is that this is a standalone system, should be
Right.
used for if you're doing something, a board meeting or what have you in here, have the audio and video, the immersive experience, everything, just run it through here, it's great. If you're gonna do sort of an overflow scenario, our system in the sanctuary does not know what audio is coming in and out, so it can't echo cancel the far end or the microphone that comes in, and what's gonna happen is not only is the other side gonna hear double,
Right.
but you're gonna start creating a feedback loop
That makes sense.
inside of the room. So you have to make sure that not only is the microphone muted, but the speakers are muted as well, yes.
Yeah, so if we pull this screen out so people at the BEMA can see it, we've got to make sure that we mute these things.
So right now, the microphone is.
By the way, the
muted.
F1 key here mutes everything.
Oh, yeah, I got that. Yep.
So that mutes the speaker output, and then obviously in Zoom you can mute the microphone right there.
Okay,
Got it.
we should write it.
Well, we need to write up a lot of instructions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, taking notes on,
And those are just the two scenarios, and it'll be, I mean, it's really obvious if you join the call and the audio isn't muted because it's gonna start doing it's gonna get real loud and you'll be like, oh, something is wrong.
And these are all dedicated just to this system?
That's right, the Polycom remote is a Bluetooth connection that's connected to your soundbar and the LG display. LG remote. So they go with those two things.
But the keyboard and the mouse are controlling.
There's a little computer that's velcroed on the back of the display,
Okay.
and it's got a teeny little dongle.
Articulating mount, so you guys can get back here, get a lot of power stuff here on the wall. The PC sits here. This is your little dongle. So again, if it ever goes bad and you need to replace it, real easy to just pull in and out.
This is also power for this PC. If this light's on, the PC's on.
Exactly.
If the light's
we'll keep
off-
it that way all the time. We're not planning to turn it on and off. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, aside from
Power breaks and
reboots
just everything.
I
And
told
so
it
you
to
can
never
always-
turn itself off.
So, how far can we put it this way so you can see it from the BEMA? Is that possible? Yeah. Let me go over and see.
Yeah, it's not like way the heck out there, but it's
Oh, it's fine.
yeah.
You can see it, right, Joni?
Yeah, I see just fine. So what the setup we have now, Phil uses his
I think we're gonna need to switch to the other room, unless there's something else you wanna show here.
See the right, which I mostly do.
Great. Thanks, Anthony.
Yeah, probably for tomorrow. I'm not gonna bother with that. But
Yeah, let's just leave that and move over to the sanctuary.
All right.
yeah, he likes to sit back here, so I imagine he probably wants to see the Zoom folks.
Oh, okay.
Awesome, that's great.
Cool. Easy stuff. All right. So here Well, the big things that we added that you can see right here in the room, the camera and the microphone that's to the right of it. The microphone aims about right here, but it has a big conal pattern, so it can pick up basically anything that's in here. That its purpose is to pick up audio when there are no mics present. So if you have a microphone on, talking through a lapel mic or that little guy, people are going to hear you from that on the far end of a Zoom call before they're going to hear you from that.
Okay.
So they're not going to hear you from this. If you're talking and doing you're talking up here, they're going to hear you. Once you stop talking and that microphone loses its signal, the gate basically turns off, and then this microphone comes on. And it's a little touchy. You might have to see kind of how it works, but that's the intent. Otherwise, if they're both on at the same time, what you get is the reinforcement from the microphone will go straight into that microphone, and you'll kind of hear them both. And on the far end, you will hear a delay, and you'll hear just a mix of this sound.
Is it possible to disable that and just turn it on when we want it?
You don't have a control system.
Oh.
So right now, everything just kind of plugs in and you go. If you need a control system, then you gotta, it's just not included. So we didn't make a thing where you have a little touch panel or anything like that. So as it stands right now, that's how it works. You can unplug it and then it'll never be on. But the way to make it work so that it doesn't have to be hands-on is that if a microphone is on, you'll hear it in here and it goes to the far end, and then this will kick on when the microphone.
So if we wanted to disable it, we could just unplug it in there?
Yeah.
Okay. Because if we have problems with it, then I think we're probably just gonna cut it out for now.
Yeah, well, hopefully it'll work as intended.
Yeah,
it's
and
nice
it does. We did a test call earlier, and the whole idea is if you talk through one of those microphones or a lapel microphone, there's a gating mechanism inside of the piece that we'll look at, that when it sees the signal from a microphone out here, that it just gates it and mutes that and holds it until the sound goes away from any of the microphones, and then it turns on.
Oh, okay, so we shouldn't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
Exactly, that's the intent.
So like tomorrow, it's usually kind of smaller service. This wall will be closed. That wall will be open. But I usually don't use any other amplification. It's just not big enough to hear. So all I gotta do, I don't have to worry about anything. That'll pick me up even facing that way.
Yep.
Okay. Because you frequently, sometimes I'm here facing the congregation, like for the sermon, but for other parts, we're actually all facing that way. Okay, that's cool. And then if I did need to, like say it's big high holiday service with all the walls open, I have the gooseneck mic on that I'm either talking into, or if I move away and I flip on my lapel mic, that's when the sort of gating and switching thing.
Exactly.
And all the speakers are working, like when he talks into his microphone.
Yes.
it can
So
work.
you have.
That was already.
Yeah,
Well, I wanted to make sure it's
the
still
speakers were all existing, and we're connected to them, and so the amplifier connects to volume controls. Those volume controls connect to the speakers, and they're kind of daisy chained all together. So every time you see a little knob on the wall, it controls wattage to the speakers, right? It's controlling the power that goes out. And so that's why it's kind of a weird attenuator. It's where it kind of gets quiet really fast, because the power is exponential that it cuts out.
Huh.
So I set the whole system to revolve around that little knob in there being set to 6.
Okay.
If you turn it up, then all of the work I did probably not going to matter, because it'll
Show me which knob that is.
Yeah,
so we can,
we're gonna go there in a second.
Yeah,
It
don't
will get so loud that the microphones will then feedback.
Right. Got it.
Okay.
And you have a little control over the wireless ones, because they have little knobs that are, that we gained up and down, and then did the little testing with Ken earlier. But this guy, these wall plates here, you don't have any controls over that, so I set them at a relatively high level, and you can go ahead and plug that.
We should go in the back room and talk about it from the back room too.
So excited to get all these
Here, I
wires.
got you. So these two have what's called phantom power. So they're able to power these condenser microphones. So you don't, if you have they're called little SM58s, and you have one in the back, That doesn't require extra power. You can still plug it in, but it might be a little quiet. It's really designed for this gooseneck microphone and how loud it is. And those are both mic inputs. I know that you have a mixer here, and what we discussed yesterday is that the microphone input that's located in that space is not microphone level, it's line level, meaning that you can plug this mixer in or the wireless receiver that you
Which
have.
goes out there, but right.
Exactly, and you can plug it in there and it will work just fine.
Okay. I think for the most part, though, I'm excited to have to get put that away and not have to use it.
You will not have to use it.
Generally speaking, we don't use more than one mic up here, but we might have two for a performance, or if there's something else going on. We have the two inputs. I don't think we do anything else.
There you go.
Okay, sweet.
That's in here. Now,
Put these here.
said, we'll go to the back.
That came from the kitchen, I think.
It's fun.
This is the new rack.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Top to bottom here, this is the Easy IP decoder. This is how the camera gets into the laptop. So the camera is a network device, and this is another network device that finds it, matches it, and brings it into the PC and connects via this USB thing down here. This is extra power. It's a power conditioner. So if you guys have, blackouts or something like that, this is designed to protect all of your equipment in here. This is the wireless receiver for that microphone that's right there.
Yeah, the one I use. Yep. Okay.
This is where all the brains of the audio is happening. This is your audio DSP. So we connected all of your existing microphones and stuff to it. So they're no longer connected to the amplifier on the bottom. They're connected to your new piece on the top. And then we send a feed from that DSP into the amp. Then the amp feeds the speakers.
Okay.
And then this is a network switch that allows all the devices to talk to each other.
Which one?
This one right here, this Luxol
Oh,
AMS.
okay.
This guy right here. It's the network switch that allows things to talk to each other. This, don't connect this to a normal network. It hands out addresses, so it'll be in conflict with whatever it comes in contact with. So it's best to just leave it like this. We ran a cable so that you could leave this little wireless guy in here. Tested it earlier, works great.
Awesome.
So the cables just come through here. The knob that I was speaking of earlier is right here in the back.
Okay.
So you'll probably never touch
Sanctuary
it,
knob.
probably
which is
never will
great.
touch it.
It sits back there, and everything is designed to work with it. This is the laptop that's.
So you can log in, Jonah, you can do it. The login password is ZoomMe, ZOOMME. And if you were to start Microsoft Edge, it's supposed to start a Zoom session.
I need to click it twice.
Double click it.
And you might have to hit, oh, there it's going. It's automatic. And you can see there's a library session and
Okay. That's still logged in from earlier.
and there's
Oh my
slick.
goodness.
so there's
That is
there
cool.
and there's
People are
a
going to be freaked out by the different angle.
so there's a remote control to the right.
So
And
this is how you control the camera.
on the
Right?
the
Okay.
coolest thing, there's I should let Anthony describe it. There's
You're excited,
these arrow keys move the camera around,
Right.
and there's a zoom out, zoom in, and then there's 6 presets, and we've set 3 of them already.
Cool.
Yeah, so all you do is you take this little
But it's
guy-
infrared, and it's got to get pointed at the camera.
Right, so if you
Okay.
just point it at the camera and you press preset 1, it'll zoom all the way out. You
Sweet.
press preset 2, it zooms in. And whatever preset 3 was set for, which looks like
Moderate
goes in
and-
there.
So you could have that
Mhm.
remote control.
Hello, Phil.
Yeah.
You could have the remote
needs to
control.
be the mirror
The remote.
image, though.
You could have the remote
Exactly.
control out at
Yeah.
the Bema, and control knowing you're zooming in or zooming out.
How do you switch? Can you switch this image so that it doesn't give a mirror image?
Or-
Is that
Or it does
possible?
give the either way, whichever one it's supposed to be. Yeah, I know it's one of the settings in there. Yeah, there you go.
I didn't
That
do
looks
it.
right.
I didn't do it.
That's me, it's me.
That's right. There you
Whatever.
There you go.
go.
So wait, the presets are
1, 2, and 3 on the remote, and you can save any presets by holding the button first. So if
Yeah.
you put it into a position, let's see, all the way out. Let's go to the left for no reason. Then if you want to save this, you hold down the preset button and hold down the number that you want. 1, 2, 3,
Like the
4,
radio
5, and then we'll see if it works.
And you get up to 6
3,
presets.
and
Yeah.
then
All right, sick.
4. Look at that.
This is awesome.
Okay, so 1 is all the way out, 2 is
And they're
All the way in,
you can define them however you like.
all the way out. all
I
the
think
way
what we should do is put a little cheat sheet on the back of there.
in. Yeah, that's a good idea.
yeah. 2 is
All the way in.
that's like I'm giving the sermon,
Yeah.
and 3 is
Oh, sorry.
like the
Middle and
Yeah.
moderate.
Okay.